Nigeria boasts of vast natural gas reserves, yet many industries still struggle to access this vital resource. Now, this gridlock stems from several factors, including inadequate infrastructure pipeline limitations and complex regulatory environments. Now, the consequences are far-reaching as limited gas supply has been crippling power generation, which has hindered business productivity and economic growth. This has forced manufacturers to rely on expensive alternatives like diesel, which has been impacting on their competitiveness in the economy. So the effects of this limited gas supply varies across different sectors. So imagine a situation where factories are forced to scale back production due to power shortages. And this is something that is currently affecting us in this country. Businesses have to grapple with rising energy costs, and thereby they have to squeeze their profit margins. Now, this gas gridlock creates a domino effect, ultimately impacting the nation's economic well-being. So now, what's the good news if we have to look forward, if we have to look ahead in our country now? The government and industry leaders have acknowledged that there is an urgency to tap into the potential of using gas to power our energy, to power our electricity sector. Now, initiatives are underway to address these infrastructure gaps, streamline regulations, boost gas exploration. And in all of this, we hope that we can unlock Nigeria's gas potential for crucial powering and to also power industries and foster sustainable economic growth and attract more foreign investment into our country. So to discuss Nigeria's gas resources and how it's not going to be a hindrance in our economy, but something that will advance our economy, is Professor Roy S. Olori. He's joining us this morning virtually. So welcome to Market Insights, Professor Roy S. Olori.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning and welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you here this morning as we talk about Nigeria's gas gridlock. So now, what are the biggest challenges to unlocking Nigeria's gas reserves?
The biggest challenges, as usual, is very interesting that we'll still come back to the normal thing we do. We repeat ourselves over and over and over and over and over again for the need for the stakeholders to deepen resources, commit resources, and a lot of effort to advancing exploration, production of gas, and even enhancing, expanding the distribution network. I think one of the major challenges we have, beside the production itself, is the distribution network. Natural gas, the most viable means to convey natural gas to end users is through the pipeline. But as we speak, typically of the system, we have a huge deficit in this pipeline infrastructure. Even the ones we have as we speak, they're overdue. Majority of them are overdue for replacement. In some cases, maintenance, because most of the time, what you do pipeline, there's really little room for maintenance, as we may call it. What you do is replacement. So the bottom line is, for us to overcome this challenge of not really tapping deeply into the use of the huge reserve we have, is to create enough sufficient investment in production, in exploration, production, in distribution, and utilization. Because if you go to a lot of parts of the world today, natural gas is used for cooking, but you need the system to be able to provide the appliances to utilize this natural gas. So it's all about advancing investment, being committed to the cost. Like, we have our gas master plan, which is a very fantastic, robust idea and plan of government. We have our national gas policy, another wonderful government policy. But the issue now is that, do we follow these plans, these policies to the letter? Do we follow them to conclusion? To the point we can now say, yes, we can applaud ourselves for job well done. No. So we must be committed. We must renew our effort to enjoy the benefit of this massive reserve we have. Massive.
Okay, so yes, as you mentioned, we need to create sufficient investment in production and distribution. And as you know, it's not a one-way street. You know, the government has played its part. So don't you think this also involves private partnership to make this achievable? Not just private partnership alone. Also, where we get this resource from, that's in the Niger Delta area, it also involves getting the people on board, ensuring that they are aware of the benefits of these gas pipelines passing through their communities and what they stand to gain. So I think it's a whole lot of people that are involved to actually achieve this seamless production and distribution flow in our country, so that we can all tap into the potential of gas use, not just natural gas use. Like you mentioned, people use it in other parts of the world for cooking, not just for electricity use alone.
Okay. Yes, you know, we, like you rightly mentioned, we need to bring on board the Niger Delta stakeholders, because they are the forefront to receive the effects of this gas production. And then on the basis of that, there's been a lot of agitations over there, which also has created some kind of impediment to private investors coming in, because a lot of private investors looked at it that, this place is resting. If I put my money there, how am I sure tomorrow they will not go and blow up my facility? Because we've had instances where some group will give ultimatum to government or some company that if you don't meet so and so demand between now XYZ time, we'll blow up your facility. We've had such instances. Yes, that on its own can scare away investors, no doubt about that. But the reality is this: even those people, those Niger Delta people, agitating and threatening investment in that asset, they too want the investment more than even the rest of the country, or even the investors that have gone there to invest, looking to recoup and make profit on their investment. Those Niger Delta people want the investment more than the rest of the country. So yes, we need to bring, the government need to sensitize them. They need to do a lot of sensitization. That is where the government will have to play its own part. The regulators have to play their own part. Create enough sensitization for these people. And as you sensitize them, why the business of production, sales is going on, let them see the proceeds, the benefit of hosting these infrastructures. Today, as we speak, the Nigeria liquefied natural gas is the most profitable investment in this country. The most profitable business you can ever mention that government has. The most profitable JV business that government has in this country. The Nigeria liquefied natural gas is the most profitable, if I'm not mistaken. But if you still go to those regions, that's why the billions of dollars you hear every day that they make from those guys, you still see people living in abject poverty. You still see degradation of the environment. Poor people cannot even go to their farmland because their environment, the ecosystem have been degraded, thereby subjecting them to more poverty. Why would a small community, even the sales of gas, for instance, for one day, the production of gas for one day from those facilities within their community, the production of gas for one day can turn around those communities to paradise. But go to those places. This gas, this petroleum has been produced, explored from those environment for decades, nothing to show. So what sensitization do you want to give that man? Other than say, let him or her, let them see, let them their welfare, let them live good life, let them see the benefits of hosting this facility. So yes, creating that sensitization that yes, you need to create a number environment for business to thrive in your communities, allow these people to operate, so that Nigeria can have more gas and into the system. It's fine, it's fantastic. But now, having done that, if the man or the woman of the community, host community, have listened to you, what does he or she stands to benefit? What accrues to them to move them out of that abject, multidimensional poverty they find themselves? So, I agree with you. There's a lot of sensitization that needs to be done to calm the nerves for those guys in the Niger Delta to relax and allow this business to thrive. However, let government on its own and the investors as the private participants, stakeholders, as they make money. We've seen cases from companies, we've seen cases in this country where the company, I don't want to mention names, we've seen cases where they will make a company operating in Niger Delta, haven't made so much money. You will hear that. Some people go to the US, American University, and give billions of dollars, launch an endowment fund in American University. Meanwhile, where they are generating money from, I don't think if you look at what they've done so far for them, it's not up to 1% of what they're investing far away from the land they're making the money for. So it's a complex issue. It's a complex issue. Nigeria, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yes, we will definitely get there in the future. Okay, as you rightfully said, yes, more sensitization, and there should be ways that the people living in these communities should see it fit that they can benefit from seeing these resources being tapped from their communities. They should have all the necessary infrastructure put there. So now, how can investments in infrastructure improve Nigeria's gas gridlock? Before we round up the program.
Okay. Investment in the Nigerian gas infrastructure can improve the Nigerian natural gas utilization in diverse ways. One, we are all faced with this greenhouse effect. It's a threat to everybody. It's a threat to everybody. And so natural gas is also a fossil fuel. But we've all come to realize that it emits less carbon than the majority of the other fossil fuel. So while we are grappling with trying to, deepen advancement of green energy, which to a large extent has a lot of issues with scalability, natural gas is the only, for now, the cleaner energy that you can scale at a massive level to power a lot of utilities. You can use it for your vehicle. If you go to the Benin city houses, I know, I think NIPCO, for many years, they promoted compressed natural gas stations in Benin. You go to Benin. And even as we speak, a lot of industries still run on natural gas. So it will go a long way. It will improve our health system in the sense that you have lesser carbon emissions in the environment, and by so doing, improve on the health of the citizens. And cooking as well, even for your cooking at home, directly as you cook, itself, it will help. If you use natural gas, it's going to lessen the health implication of using a more dirtier fuel. So investing in natural gas infrastructure will go a long way. We have the status of power plant, generation plant. They will say there was no light. They have to shut down because they didn't receive gas. Can you imagine? Where we have over 200 trillion cubic feet of reserve that will last us for over 100 years, lying idle. But you can hear that they shut down power plant. We don't have light because there was no gas. You can imagine when there's no light, every other thing shuts down because the multiplier effect of having power is so immeasurable. It has a spiral effect on so many other things when you have power, light. So it's a very broad sphere. We need to really look. We need to visit our gas master plan, the national gas policy, and be committed to them. We need to be committed to them. We need to drive those initiatives to the later. And I believe if we do it, you will see massive industrialization. We are being held back from industrialization by lack of power, by lack of power and this gas infrastructure. Because when you have gas, you have more power to drive industrialization.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Professor Roy S. Olori, and thank you for joining us on Market Insight this morning. Now, Professor Olori he's one of the earliest Nigerian professionals to undertake the design and construction of bulk liquefied petroleum gas spherical tanks projects depots in Nigeria. So thank you so much for joining us on Market Insight this morning, and we look forward to having you again on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful. And please, let me correct you somewhere. I wanted to correct you from the beginning, but you escaped my mind. I'm not a professor yet, please.
Okay, Mr. Roy Olori then.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so that's our time this morning on Market Insights as we talked about our gas gridlock in Nigeria and how we can actually tap into the potentials of this gas, and we can also use it side by side with our current electricity powering our homes, not just for cooking alone, but to also power our industries and also power our homes. It's something that can be achieved with partnership from the government, the stakeholders in this industry, and also the communities where these resources are mined. So thank you very much for watching Market Insight this morning. I also want to thank my guest, Dr. Paul Uzum, as he talks about the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed that the markets will close on a positive note this week. Thank you very much for watching the program. Do stay tuned to news updates on Souk News Television. I am your host, Lavina Emma.